Hey, this is Mr. Drogemeyer. Thanks for joining me for our Algebra 1 lesson videos. Today we are in lessons 8 and 9 of Unit 4, which is about graphs of functions. And we're going to focus especially on an idea called restricted domain. So we've talked about the domain and the range of a function. We said that the domain is going to be all of our inputs into that function, the range, our outputs. When we talk about restricting a restricted domain means that we are going to restrict those inputs to a certain range of values. And so if you look at my first function example that I have listed here, it says f of x equals negative 3x plus 4. So that's our function. And then they've given us a restricted domain. They're telling us that the input values for x can go from negative 2 to positive 3. And notice we have that x is greater than negative 2, or negative 2 is less than x. So our x values can be greater than negative 2. They can't equal negative 2 because I don't have a bar under there to say it can't also be equal to negative 2. And then the largest they can be is positive 3. We do have the equal sign here. And so that denotes that that x can equal 3. And so I think that the best way to show you this is to do this in Desmos. So I'm going to pull up my Desmos calculator, and I'm going to go ahead and put that function in. And so I can type f of x. You can also, if you click, oh, wrong one here, you also have an option. I keep hitting the wrong buttons. Let me go back here. The plus sign allows me to enter an f of x expression. So f of x equals negative 3x plus 4. And so there's my function, but you'll notice domain right now is from negative infinity to positive infinity. Our values of x can be anything at this point. If after my function I use these the squiggly bracket here, I can enter in my restricted domain. So we have negative 2, the less than symbol, x, less than or equal symbol. If I hit the less than and then hit my equal sign, it will give me that. And then 3 is the number there, and then close those brackets. And now you'll see that no longer does that function, the graph of that function, go on forever. We've restricted that domain. And so here is where x is negative 2. And if I zoom in on that spot there, you can't really tell here, but if I click where x is negative 2, notice that for y it says it's undefined. And so if you were drawing this by hand, and you'll see in the lesson, it's going to show that open circle like that to represent that point at negative 2. And that's just showing that it's going all the way up to negative 2, but it doesn't equal negative 2. In the same way, if I go down here to x, when x is positive 3, so that's going to be down here. Now remember, we said it could equal positive 3 down here. And so I do actually have a y value when x is 3. So when x is 3, y is negative 5, or f of x is negative 5. If I would keep going, then I'm outside of my restricted domain. But so that's what a graph will look like with the restricted domain. It's going to stop at certain areas. All right, and if I go back to my my functions here, the second function that I'm given, f of x equals x to the third minus x squared. This time we have a restricted domain. X values can be anywhere from 0 to 4, but they can't equal 0 or 4. So let's again go ahead and we'll enter this function in. So we had f of x equals x to the third minus x squared. And to get those exponents, you use the little caret symbol, which is shift and 6. Excuse me. All right, so that's my function. And you'll see you've got kind of a curved line, changes directions. Then I want to enter in my restricted domain. And for this one, we said that x is going to be between 0 and 4. And so you'll see now it has changed what that function looks like. So now we're going from an x value of 0, and I've zoomed out our x value of 4 up here. So if I zoom back in, when x is 0, notice again, it's undefined. I would have an open circle there. Open circle represents that it can't equal 0. If that was a less than or equal to sign in our restricted domain, then this would be a closed circle at 0, and we would actually have a value for f of x when x is 0. Now when I go up to 4, should be seeing the same thing when x is 4. Our f of x or our y, our output is undefined because it's outside of our restricted domain. But everything before that is going to have an f of x value based off of what we get when we plug in that value for x. All right, and so that's the idea of restricted domain, being able to identify what those graphs look like in that restricted area. Appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. If you have questions, please let me know. Thanks. Have a great day.